Yo.
Top 5 dead or alive.
All right, man. We doing something important now. News and Talk 1380 WAOK. It's your boy, Alson McCall, Malik. What up? I'm here with
your girl, Desi T.
And
Xavier Brand on the MIC.
Dan is making sure we do our jobs. Desi, tell them who we have in the building with us.
We have Attorney Kianna Chennault.
Attorney Chennault, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You were telling us before we went to break. Well, matter of fact, refresh the audience's memory. Tell our listeners about the two cases that we were discussing.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Attorney Kianna Chennault, and I'm currently representing the family of Brandon Vargas, who is a 12-year-old. Well, unfortunately, he was a 12-year-old boy who died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound after being bullied by a teacher, his math teacher. He complained about the bullying starting in August of 2025, and he took his life by October of 2025.
Got it.
Yeah, and his family asked no less than 4 times for him to be removed from the classroom, but the school did not intervene.
So what would be standard policy for Rockdale County when a child notifies administration that they're being bullied?
Good question. So whenever a child or a parent or even a teacher makes an allegation of bullying, Rockdale County or any Georgia public school is supposed to do a thorough investigation to assess whether those allegations are correct. And if they're verified, then they're supposed to intervene. So whether that's moving a child to another class or suspending another child or getting some type of special services for the child that's being bullied, the school has a duty to act once the allegations have been verified.
And is this supposed to be done with the open line of communication with the family of the accused, the party that's making the accusations?
Absolutely.
So did Rockdale, in your research, because I don't know how long you've been on top of this case and having to deal with the school, but in your opinion, do you feel like they kept that line of communication?
No, I don't. Brandon took his life in October. We were retained in December of 2025, so we've been working on the case, I guess, about 2 months. During that time, even before we started working on the case, the family never knew that there was an investigation into the allegations. They don't know when it started. They don't know the outcome. Now, I've heard by my own sources that the teacher doesn't work there anymore, but the family has not been formally told, this teacher doesn't work here anymore or this
or
happened.
Why.
Yeah, or why. Yeah, they haven't been told anything. So I would say no, Rockdale County did not follow proper procedure, especially because it seems like they started the investigation after he had already taken his life.
Now, I don't want to.
Too late. They waited too late.
Yeah,
Right.
they waited too late. Like I said, do you coming here today is the first time I'm hearing about this case? All of us just hearing about this for the first time. So we had the normal questions of why you hear that parents are letting the school know, hey, there's something going on with my child, and my son is still coming home telling me the same thing's happening. The immediate question would be, well, it's time to go raise some hell.
Right.
And it seems like the parents, Vargas' parents, had a choice to make. And I feel like they chose the high road and decided to trust that the school would take care of their son, and they were let down. Is that the long and skinny of it?
Absolutely. Brandon's family did all that they could do. Even his sister. His sister is who we primarily talk to. She's a family spokesperson, and they did all that they felt that they were supposed to do. They went to the right resources. They went to the school. They talked to the nurse at the school. They talked to several people at the school to try to get help. Every family doesn't have the resources to hire outside therapists. All families don't have insurance. All families cannot take off of work and drive their children to these different services. However, we're all required to take our children to school, right?
Yeah.
And so they definitely put their trust in the school's hand.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Attorney Kianna Chennault. She represents Brandon Vargas, who was a kid at Rockdale in a Rockdale County school who unalived himself. But Brandon is not the only one you represent. His family's not the only one. It's specifically in Rockdale County.
Hold on 1 second.
It's multiple.
I wanted to ask one more question about Brandon's situation. Do you feel, and you feel free to not answer this either, because I don't know what you can legally say or not say.
Okay.
Do you feel as though the climate of today added to what could be the culture of ignoring this young man? And when I say the climate of today, Vargas is clearly a Hispanic name. I'm not sure what the politics are like in Rockdale. I don't know if y'all be in Rockdale or whatever. I don't really know what the demographic is
neither,
in Rockdale. But do you feel as though, and I don't want to be too accusatory because I don't know, but
Right.
do you feel as though this could be a situation where they decided that we're not going to listen to the brown boy or the Hispanic boy because it's not that serious, or he doesn't understand, or whatever?
Right.
The parents don't understand that it's not that serious or something like that. Do you think it could be? And I don't want to say it's simple because it's an intricate issue, but
Right.
it's just a simple thought like, oh, they don't understand that this is just how things are here, and now my son is dead. Do you think that could have led to something like this?
I will say I believe the school was very dismissive, and that's clear from the record. I won't try to infer why they were dismissive, but I think the culture, our current climate right now in Georgia, so we don't have to know, Rockdale County specifically, but in Georgia and the U.S. as a whole, Hispanic people feel less safe, and so maybe things that they would do or avenues they would search out in the past, they don't feel comfortable doing that anymore. They're kind of keeping their circle tight. So maybe I don't want this therapist in my house, or maybe I don't want, my son going to this person because maybe they'll say the wrong thing and they tip off that person or whatever.
How do I call the authorities when the authorities show up and they want me?
Exactly.
That's sad.
So like I alluded to, Rockdale County, apparently from our conversations, are having a history of doing some messed up thing to children. Can you tell us about the other case you're representing with the teacher who punched the kid?
Yeah. So this particular student, his name is Malachi, and I want to say this happened early October of 2025. And he was in a relationship with another student. He's in the 7th grade.
Teenage
love.
Been at
Middle school,
age
yeah.
13, 12, And so this particular teacher who Malachi had the incident with, he basically told Malachi, hey, if you break her heart, I'm going to break you, type of thing.
It was a male teacher?
It was a male teacher.
Okay.
Not those exact words. But
Yeah.
you know how dads sometimes are,
Yeah.
But
Protective.
but
Trying
the
to
girlfriend
be.
trying to be protective.
Yeah.
But the girlfriend was not related to the teacher. But
Okay.
that's just kind of the tone he took towards Malachi. And so Malachi actually went home and told his mom that, hey, my teacher said if something happens in this relationship, he's going to beat me up. And she was like, no, he just saying that like we would think,
Yeah.
right? No, he just wants you to do right by her or whatever. And so, no, they broke up, whatever happened. I mean, I don't even want to say broke up because they're 13, right? But something happened, and the teacher was like, didn't I tell you not to break her heart or not to do this, not to do that? And so he excuses all the students from the classroom except for Malachi and the girl, and he begins to beat Malachi. He beat him over 20 times in his upper body and his head. It's all on camera.
How do you, as a teacher, just feel freely to actually do that to a student?
To a 13,
I have no
a
idea.
13-year-old, like
Right.
at that, the one who's not your child. First of all, as a person who like mentors people, I understand like you take these kids on as your kids, so you want to
Right.
protect them, you want to make sure, but that could have been handled differently. There could have been a conversation
Exactly.
that could have been had to be like, yo, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? Like, but actually to physically assault like a kid and beat him over 20 times, that's super excessive.
But it makes me feel
Exactly.
like the teacher knew what he was going to do by telling all the kids to leave.
Right.
There was some intention there. Like when he said it beforehand, like he knew what he was going to do in the event that they were going to break up.
And also, does this teacher have some type of family ties to this girl's family? Like, are they like close? Like, are they like, yo, that's like my niece type of
Right.
situation? Like,
That's the best case scenario.
So, best case, right. That I'm not sure of, but it was definitely very weird how he just felt so offended
Very
that
weird.
Malachi was breaking up with this young lady. But he was actually arrested. That teacher was arrested, charged for child abuse. He went to jail. He was booked. He bonded out. So he is facing felony charges.
so
I can see.
oh.
I'm not going ahead.
I just wonder what is going legally from your perspective. What is going on in Rockdale County that this seems to be a pattern? Is it the school?
Training?
Is it training? Is it the leadership?
Yeah.
Is it because sometimes you can have a good leader and then everybody who's under you don't necessarily fall in line. Like, what's your perspective on like what's going on in the system? Because if you got multiple cases in the
Right.
same county, clearly there's a pattern going on and something wrong in the county.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I would say leadership issue and personnel issue. As far as leadership, after the case with Malachi came out, the school issued a statement talking about all the great things they do in the classroom. We have this training. We do background checks. We do this. We do that. So they continue to stand by, we're doing the right thing. So obviously the leadership is not informed. And this particular teacher who beat Malachi, he had just won Teacher of the Year, and I want to say 2021. And so it's like, how did he win Teacher of the Year? I believe he had these same proclivities.
Yeah.
I don't think the teachers are being properly assessed. I don't think they're checking in with their teachers mentally. And then in one of the other cases that I had, that particular student was special needs, and he was beat by a paraprofessional in the classroom. Well, that paraprofessional was not trained. They just get anybody off the street. If you don't have a criminal history, okay, you're hired. And they
Wonder
have
if anybody
those.
said that lately up here.
Yeah. And that particular paraprofessional was the brother of a teacher who worked there. And so he just got
There's a
hired.
connection.
Yeah.
What happened to that paraprofessional?
He also faced felony child abuse charges, and his case is still pending.
Okay, so what? Oh, go ahead.
I was
You
just
got
going
it,
to
Des.
ask if Rockdale is obviously all of these situations are happening. Like, what is their stance, or how are they holding themselves accountable? Or, are they even having any remorse, or kind of at some point like, okay, one case too many, but now we're talking about 4 or 5. Do they take a step back to say we need to restructure some things? We need new leadership. We need to, before it gets worse. And my other question is, it getting worse, what would that look like, if that makes sense? Like, what, I guess within the school system at Rockdale, like, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like
What
what
would
would worse look like, or what would a change look like?
what would the change look like? And I don't want to say worse, because worse could be another child, something happens to another kid. But I guess in the structure of Rockdale, like, where do they have to go to be like, we need to really figure this out?
Now I forgot the first question.
It's okay. We got to go on break. We got to take a
We'll
quick break.
go on break.
Okay.
We'll re-ask a question, and then we'll take some callers. You down to answer some calls?
Yeah, sure.
All right, call us up 404-726-1380. Callers, I see you. We'll be right back with Attorney Chennault on Voices in the Streets on WAOK. You're just tuning in. We're still talking to Attorney Chennault on the cases in Rockdale County. Attorney Kianna, appreciate you pulling up on us and sharing about what's going on.
Now, how
Yeah,
is she
sure.
going to hear these very, very educated questions?
I'll give her
Probably.
my headphones.
Yeah, they'll probably be very educated questions.
All right, but before we go into there,
Let me re-ask my question.
there you go.
Okay.
So my question, so there are multiple cases that have come out of Rockdale County, right? At this point, you've told us about 3 or 4 of them. What does Rockdale County school system need to do? One, to ensure like this doesn't happen again, and are they, in all of these cases, do they have any remorse, or are they having any type of accountability, or saying, I know you said at one case they were like, oh, we're going to do all of these good things, but you've already had 3-4 cases before that. It's clearly you're not doing anything. So what is Rockdale County school system looking like and feeling like in this particular situation?
Got you. So I'm going to answer the second question first. I don't see any contriteness from Rockdale County leadership. They continue to put forth the narrative that they're doing everything right, that, this is one bad apple. I mean, for this particular case, I haven't heard anything about the teacher where they've said she could have did better or needed more training. They haven't said anything. They've just said that we continue to do, the right things. Brandon was a valued member of our community. Words that's not going to bring his parents any peace. So just overall, I haven't seen any contriteness from Rockdale County. They just seem to continue to put forth the fact that, or the opinion that they're doing everything that they should do, that they're training their their teachers. That they have. For some of the physical cases, they'll say our teachers are trained on proper restraint techniques. So they'll say statements like that. But no, I haven't seen any contriteness where they're like, oh, yeah, we got it wrong in this case. I haven't seen that. Now, in terms of what they need to do, I think they should look at some school systems that are getting it right. Some school systems that don't have these type of allegations. I want to say there's several to choose from. I hope it's several to choose from, and really just just do a case study and see what can we implement. And that was actually one of the suggestions we had after Malachi's case was, hey, bring in a third party.
Yeah.
Bring in some type of educational specialist who does a full assessment of your policies, your trainings, and lets you know where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, where your challenges are. So that was one of our recommendations after the incident with Malachi, but we haven't heard back as far as whether they're going to actually do a case study and actually have a third party come in and evaluate. But I think that's what they need.
Yeah.
Them evaluating themselves, they have an interest in saying, yeah, we're doing it right.
Right.
But if a third party comes in and says, no, I noticed X, Y, and Z, then they can see it for themselves. But right now, they just have a self-interest in not seeing anything wrong, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. We're talking to Attorney Kianna Chennault on Voice in the Streets. Call us up right now, 447-226-1380. Todd, what you got for Attorney Chennault?
I have two questions for you, Kenya Chennault. Can you hear me okay?
Kianna.
Mm-hmm. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, she's getting her headphones on right now. Hold on.
Ask your question, Todd.
Go ahead and ask, Todd.
I want to make sure she can hear me okay.
Yeah, she can hear you.
Okay, good enough. Did Brandon, if you can speak on it, did Brandon leave anything behind to indicate that he was about to do this to himself? Like an audio, or did he write something down? Anything such as that would have given an indicator that he was going to do this to himself for sure. And did the parents confront this teacher themselves prior to, and what was the exchange if they did?
So that's a good question. Brandon did not leave, to our knowledge, he didn't leave any writing to suggest what he was about to do.
Or audio?
Or audio. I will say that his phone is locked and his family does not have the password. So one thing we're working on is getting our investigator to get into his phone to actually see what's in there. And then he also has a laptop that's currently locked that we are trying to get access to as well.
Did they confront this teacher themselves? And if so, what was the exchange?
They did not confront the teacher themselves. And I don't know if it's like this in every school, but at least in my kids' school, you can't just like go up to a teacher. You have to send an email. You have to make a meeting, have some type of request you have to put in and then have it set up. So I'm going to assume that it's the same thing at this particular school, that the parents just couldn't go up and meet with the teacher.
Was that put in? Was that, to your knowledge, was that request made that hey, we want to talk with you?
To my knowledge, the parents didn't ask to talk to the teacher. They just wanted their student out of the room. I mean, by that point, Brandon had already expressed that, hey, I'm not feeling safe. Hey, I'm feeling like I want to hurt myself. At that point, they're not trying to talk to their teacher. They're just trying to get their kid out of that room.
Hey, Todd, we got to go to the next caller. Appreciate you calling. I'm going to put you back on hold, all right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Voices in the Streets, who's this and what's your question?
Abby's your brother, Gideon. How are you all doing?
Well, Gideon, what's your question?
Tremendous subject. Just a little history, if I could. In Rockdale, 1996, syphilis outbreak in that community in Georgia. Over 200 teenagers, suburban, wealthy, affluent, white children. You can Google this.
I believe you.
Had a syphilis outbreak because they were having orgies in that school system with teenagers from affluent families.
You make us talk.
All right.
Two things I would say. My question is ultimately going to be, one, the school itself is an extension of the type of bigoted communities that we are living in and that we're moving into, that doesn't have influence and respect to black families. And I'm not sure what the color mix is, but if I know the people who doing this show, they're probably black, and that disrespect spills over with the teachers and how they handle the students. And secondly, when it comes to our involvement with teachers, I think a lot of the protective measures that students have as it relates to parents being involved in the school system, kind of creates this way of protecting teachers and giving them the idea that they can handle children any kind of way without any recourse. I wanted to ask the lawyer about that and see what her thoughts were. If you guys Google the 1996 case, you'll see that and what her thoughts are about.
All right, cool.
The racial component.
We got to take a quick break. Get in. Give us a call if you want to get in on the conversation. 447-226-1380. We'll be back. Give us a call.
Yes. And we are still here with Attorney Kianna Chennault. We are still talking and discussing the cases that's coming out of Rockdale County and the child cases. It's multiple cases where the school systems are not treating the children the right way at Rockdale, unfortunately.
Correct. And before we went to break, Gideon had a question about whether or not you believe that it is like a power trip pretty much going over with teachers and how they engage with the students in Rockdale County. What is your perspective of that?
Mm-hmm. I think that may be part of it, unfortunately. Now, teachers, principals, school systems, they do have immunity under the law. And so there are, several behaviors they can kind of get away with. I mean, look at like the police, if they're acting in a way that's in furtherance of their duties, then they will likely have immunity. So I'm sure that they know that, and I think that comes to play in some of these situations. Also, if the teacher is still employed there, the school is going to hire the attorney for the teacher, and they're going to cover them legally. So I think that's some of it, but I think also some cases people just are looking for somebody more vulnerable to take out frustration on, especially in cases that I had where the victims, the students have been nonverbal. They knew that the students could not communicate with their family to let them know what was going on. So I just think, unfortunately, sometimes it's a power trip, and sometimes people have aggression, and they're taking it out on somebody vulnerable, just like we see with the elderly sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. My son is nonverbal. I'd be in jail. Like, there's not... I wouldn't go to jail for just any reason, but over that, y'all would not see me again. Because that is totally... That's evil.
Yeah.
That's not bad or kind of, that's evil. Like, to take advantage of such a vulnerable community like that is not okay. We still going to the callers, 404-726-1380. Jihad, welcome back to Voices in the Streets. What you got to say?
Good afternoon, both of you. I'm feeling her on the first case. The second case, I'm not feeling that the school is responsible based on the limited information that I've heard. The first case has a history and a supporting data that this was over and over and over again. And then they did reach out to the administration to get the situation solved. The second case, however, based on what I've heard, is an incident that happened one time between the teacher and the student. I'm talking about the physical abuse.
When he punched him in the chest like 20 times.
Punched him in the chest. So I feel that the teacher should be punished, and supposedly is punished and in jail and has a case, but I can't see how the school is held responsible when there was no prior information to the school and the administration to particularly solve that particular problem that presented itself.
Are you saying that you don't think the school is culpable because they didn't have any way of predicting that he would just start punching the student?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Based on what you said, he was a student, he was a teacher of the year, and all this and that. I'm thinking
she says you're right. I would probably say that the school is responsible for training you and your evaluations and all of that kind of stuff. But anybody can be lied to.
But from a legal perspective,
so I'm not going to argue against my clients, right? But when I say he's right, I mean in terms of that's Rockdale's exact defense.
That's their defense.
Yeah. We didn't know that this teacher was violent. He's been teacher of the year. He just flew off the handle one day. How can we be held liable for him just losing his temper one day? A school can only they can only be held liable for their own negligence in that instance. So if they hired him and he had a record that was 20 sheets long, then you had noticed that this person was violent. But I will say in this case, the teacher actually admitted to the police that he has engaged physically with students in the past, and that's in the police report.
Like violently or
violently,
okay,
physically.
Okay.
So you admitted guilt.
Well, he
admitted that he has a history, so of course I'm standing on that.
Yeah.
He said in the police report that he's done this before.
If you're willing to say that,
so he did it again.
If you're willing to say that, that means it's a lot that you probably
send him to jail. Send him to jail.
Yeah, I don't think that's a question. Yeah. You got to go.
But thank you for your question. That was a good point.
Thanks, Jihad. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you listening, Jihad.
So
you don't think? I know we were talking about because Malik's nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about just how it would feel like finding that out. I would probably guess like if you were to, I don't know, obviously impossible, talk to every special needs student in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I would guarantee you this probably happens not more than not, but a lot of the times because I started thinking about like nursing homes and like the stuff that happens in nursing homes every single day. Somebody right now, as we talking, is whooping some old lady right now.
Mm-hmm.
That something terrible is happening right this second at a nursing home somewhere in the country. So I would assume that when it comes to being a special needs student, that's why you put all this extra effort into finding a school that fits Malik's needs so things like this don't happen. But I would think just at a regular schmegular public school where they're just finding people that, for lack of a better term, are willing to put up with special needs students instead of people that want to help special needs students and stuff like that go through specialized training and wake up every day to like, today gonna be a challenge, but it's gonna be a day where we get better and stuff like that. It's far less people than, I just need this job and they paying me this and I'll go work with the special needs kids and blah, blah, blah. So like, do you have like an inherent fear that somebody is going to take advantage of the fact that your son can't speak up for himself?
No, I don't. There was a situation with my son where a pair, I think, like grabbed him or was moving him too rough, and they did an investigation. They ended up removing him from the school that he was in. And from what it seemed to me when I used to just drop him off, this pair seemed to like, love my son or whatever like that. But he also is a man. You know what I'm saying? So men, I got to yoke my son up. But he's my son though. When things happen. So I think that I don't have that type of fear. I think that I try to do a good job of making sure that both of my kids, because I got a neurodivergent one and a neurotypical one. And so that they're both in the right place, the right time. But also I think something to note is I also have a privilege that, again, some of these people don't have, where I'm not afraid to pull up, or I'm not afraid to call somebody that I know that can get somebody, taken care of or handled, So some of these parents don't have that.
And if I could add a perspective, my clients who do have students who have special needs, even though their students were not able to communicate with them, they knew something was wrong with their child. It's something about special needs parents. They are very in tune with their child's behavior. And I remember one client, she was like, y'all need to go back and watch the videos around this date because something happened. He's been different ever since this one day. It's like they know. And so even though the students can't necessarily communicate verbally, that nonverbal communication that they have with their parents is very powerful. Yeah,
attitude starts changing, like certain behaviors. Like let's say if, if they're potty trained and all of a sudden they just start, peeing on themselves. Or if their tantrums are a little bit more uncontrollable than usual. Or they start acting out in different type of ways. Those are the things you pay attention to and you're like, hold up, something's not right. What's going on? So yeah, I think it's terrible. And I'm glad that you came up here, Kianna, to highlight these things. Anything that we can do, please let us know. Matter of fact, tell the people, what can we do as just regular citizens to help support you and support these parents and families? And
how do they reach out?
Tell the people how they can follow you, reach out, get in contact with you.
Represent us, our people.
Yeah, sure. As far as this case and any other case, I would say just please continue to get the word out. The only reason why I even knew about Brandon was because we had a press conference for Malachi's case, and a reporter said, "Hey, did you hear about that student who recently died?" Bless you. And I was like, "No, I hadn't." And so when we continue to gather and share these stories, more people continue to come forward. And it's unfortunate that more stories are out there, but at least more families have a chance to be heard and get justice. So you can definitely help by getting the word out. I would say continue to lobby, continue to see when you're voting, look and see what the different candidates are standing for, and definitely try to choose people who align with our values for our community, who align with, family values and education values, if that's your preference, And then I would say if you want to follow our firm, our website is www.chennaultlaw.com. That's CHENNAULTLAW.com. And then on Facebook, Kianna, KIANNA, same last name, Chennault, and same name on Instagram as well.
All right. Appreciate you, Attorney Chennault. We appreciate
Believe the
everything you're
kids.
doing, man. Stay tapped in with us on Voice in the Streets. We'll be right back. 447-263-1380 if you got something to say.